Welcome to The Lead, everyone. I'm Jake Tapper. President Trump today making it very clear once again, the buck stops there. This time the president refusing to acknowledge that
Alrighty, everyone. So this is the first video. It's going to be on Anti-Globalist TV. This is one of the channel's founders, Del2SA here, and I'm going to be doing the Alright, so we're reading this article, and I guess the billionaire banker Rockefeller dies at age 101. So finally, after a century and a year, we're gonna read this. This is from the RT, which people go, oh, that's not a source. Are you kidding me? Well, I have the New York Times up as well, so if someone's gonna scream about Russian propaganda, it's like, I have another source, so you're not saying the same exact thing. Alright, so former Chase Manhattan chief executive David Rockefeller has died at the age of 101 years old. 101. Rockefeller died at sleep at home up in New York, up in the hills of New York, Pocatico Hills, New York, on Monday morning, as a result of congestive heart failure, according to a family spokesman, Fraser P. Cito. The businessman, who had an essential fortune of $3 billion, retired as the head of Chase Manhattan in 1981 after a 35-year career. There's a picture of the tweet. You can probably barely see it, as it's probably not going to be very blurry. But in the statement from the Rockefeller Foundation confirming his death, Rockefeller was described as one of the most influential figures in the history of American philanthropy and finance, considered by many to be America's last great international business statesman. Oh, of course, one of the greatest globalists, you could say, that's ever been around. Rockefeller, also known as the banker's banker, according to the statement, is said to have donated almost $2 billion of his lifetime to various institutions, including Rockefeller University, Harvard University, and Art Museum, family charity, ExxonMobil. Wow, so of course, Rockefeller family charity pulls funds from ExxonMobil over a long-time climate change cover-up. Really, go figure. That's another article. But that's not what this is about today. David was the youngest of 6 children born to John D. Rockefeller Jr. and the grandson of Standard Oil co-founder John D. Rockefeller. Rockefeller graduated from Harvard in 1936 and received a doctorate in economics from the University of Chicago in 1940. Appointed to president of Chase Manhattan in 1961, became the chairman and CEO 8 years later. Rockefeller often spoke about the importance of American capitalism, which he said brought more benefits to more people than any other system in any part of the world at any time in history, which I would disagree with that heavily, as a lot of Marxists would heavily say that he brought more imperialism and exploitation to a lot of people. Yeah, it probably brought a lot of benefits to the Western Europeans, the US, and Canada, but not to poor, backward nations where there's exploitation. So I'm kind of going from the Marxist grid speaking. So it goes, the problem is to see that the system is run efficiently and honestly as it can be, he added. Rockefeller was married to Margaret McGrath from 1940 until her death in 1996, and the couple had 6 children. It's all from the Russian Times article, though. I'm going to say this about the whole American capitalism. I'm just going to put the whole thing up right here in these pop-ups. Let's move on to the next article about the time in history. Even somebody who's I'm not really capitalist. I don't really support capitalism or socialism. So I think both of them have had their problems, and it's brought more benefits to people, according to what he said. It's like, I severely doubt it. I think it's brought more problems in a lot of areas than any benefit. You do have the benefits. Of course, there's some benefits, but there's a lot more problems, like extreme individualism, materialism, and that's a huge problem. It's so a system that is very materialistic and pursues the mighty dollar as the highest thing to pursue is a good thing, and also more material possessions. As I'm going to say, I'm going to kind of go off on a little ramble here but the biggest problem I have with a lot of alt-right figures, but before I jump into the next article here, that my biggest concern, my biggest issue with them, a lot of them, is that they don't think we should get rid of capitalism. They think we should keep it. They think that it's all of it. Some of them think it's all, since I think a lot of them came out of libertarianism, so I assume a lot of them will blame government, a large state, for the problems that we have. Or one of these major figures I watch, I'm not going to name drop because it does good work, but I do have some disagreements, and this is that capitalism is part of the problem. You cannot remove that from the equation. You cannot take it out of the equation and expect it just to be a few factors. Some people like to say it's all capitalism. Some like to say it's all government, or it's all this. There's multiple factors. There's not just one problem. It's multiple issues. And the economic system of today and the system of capitalism are part of it. You cannot remove it from the equation completely. Not possible. So, but let's continue with this. New York Times one basically says things. Dies. The banker and Phil with fabled family name who controlled Chase Manhattan Bank for more than a decade and wielded vast influences around the world even longer as he spread the gospel of American capitalism, died on Monday morning at his home in the hills of New York. He was 101. Family spokesman, basically blah 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 blah. There's a lot of this I've already read. His Manhattan had known as the Rockefeller Bank through the family never owned more than 5% of its shares, but Mr. Rockefeller was more than a steward, a chairman, and a chief executive through the 1970s. He made it David's Bank, as many called it, expanding its operations internationally. His stature was greater than any corporate title they convey. So, of course, this article is just touching upon the death, his legacy, etc. This is one of the, man. First I thought when I heard about the, I'm going to check my Facebook. Nope. But you can see it touches up on his legacy and everything. Well, I'm not going to read everything, but if you want to read everything for yourself, I'm going to link everything below, so it's available for you to read. That it. The Cultural Revolution, maybe what? Mr. Rockefeller had cut with oil dictators, Soviet party bosses, and Chinese perpetrators of the Cultural Revolution. Well, Rockefeller, his whole time of evil in this world has been great. He basically, Rockefeller and his foundation will basically allow the second wave, the feminist movement to gain its prominence. I mean, most people in the second wave in the 60s to get women out of the house and into the workplace. Has been their main aim. Basically break down the traditional family nucleus by getting women working, get them out of the house, moving from wives to. A lot of this is confirmed. Like this isn't just some crazy conspiracy theorist on the internet making this up. This is. Was it? Let me actually Google this since I can. Feminism will create destabilize society, tax women, set up. Why billionaire oligarchs bankroll feminism? Oh yeah, so see if they bankroll it. This is major billionaires like Rockefeller. I think even the Rothschilds had some hand in this. Yada yada yada. I'm just gonna cut the. Well, it's still gonna be there, but I'm just gonna. Oh, it's still there, but whatever. Well, this is just this whole shenanigans of him dying and his. He got also had like several heart transplants, so he was trying to stay alive for a long time. But you can't dodge the bullet forever. Your days are numbered. Doesn't matter how many and this is also a message. Doesn't matter how many heart transplants you get, they're going to die someday. Doesn't matter how many you get. I don't even think my buddy's online. See if I can call him on here. I can call him in one of our groups. Thanks to that. Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm just going to read part of this. As far as international politics, also drew criticism notably in 1979 when he and former Secretary of State Henry A. Kissinger persuaded President Jimmy Carter to commit the recently disposed Shah of Iran into the United States for cancer treatment. The Shah's arrival in New York enraged revolutionary followers of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, provoking them to seize the United States Embassy in Iran and hold American diplomats hostage for more than a year. Yeah, because in Iran, in the year 79, they disposed of the Iranian monarchy, which had ruled for centuries. Was it the... I'm trying to think of the name of the dynasty. There it is. Oh, Egypt. Yeah, so it was the Pahlavi dynasty in Iran. Was the dynasty? It was the Iranian dynasty that was disposed of. Yeah, it was the Persian. It was the Pahlavi dynasty in Iran, which ruled from 1925 to 1979. But people think of like the Shah in 1953. The Iranian monarchy had existed for many centuries before. But the current dynasty the current dynasty at that time was in power from 1925 until the Iranian Revolution, which led to the rise of the Islamic Republic and all that. So a lot of the Islamic revolutionaries were outraged when they heard the Shah was brought in. So of course the people like Kissinger, I think it was also the whole thing with Pinochet and all that stuff in Chile as well. Okay, so I got a friend who's gonna probably call me later, but this whole video is getting off track. But the death of David Rockefeller has kind of brought a huge. This is a huge thing because you could argue there's several globalists like I think Kissinger, Soros, Rothschild, and then Rockefeller was one of them. But now he's kind of passed on, so there's not that much else left to it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Touch USA. Anti-Globalist TV, and I'm out.